I could see where it's like, you know, you want to release DLC that, like, even small DLC, like in bit-sized pieces. Some people are attracted to that because they don't want to spend so much money. Like something you were talking about, the Shivering Isles, for example.
Yeah, it's renowned for being literally one of the greatest DLC packages ever created.
Yeah.
It basically takes the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion and doubles the content in the game.
Exactly.
But again, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, it's got the good and it's got the bad. It's got
you've got the Shivering Isles, and then you have the horse DLC.
The horse armor,
you have the horse armor, which I don't even know what they were thinking about that.
No.
But that's an also interesting thing, because especially with PC games, with the modding communities, where it becomes an interesting dynamic, because it's like people are almost creating their own DLCs in a weird way.
It's the developer getting free content that.
Yeah, it's like, well, we don't have to work on it. You can get it for free. And that's why I find like a lot of PC versions of games are very superior in a lot of ways, like Skyrim
makes
especially.
Them a lot more appealing. Yeah. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, I played a lot of PC. It's revolutionary. I mean, being able to just, I'm getting a little bit bored of this game. I'm going to download some player's creation and try that out.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It opens up such a huge, vast world that you can play.
And such a huge level of creativity can be added to it.
And community, like
support, and bugs can be fixed and stuff like that. Because it's sort of like their project, so you can sort of pick and choose which projects or mods that you want to add. So I like the aspect of that, but
now also Elder Scrolls running through Steam, and you can get the actual mods straight from the Steam.
Exactly.
Which is very useful.
It's very, very good.
Yeah.
It's just I find like I said, it's there's certain DLCs where it's clearly just a cash grab.
Yeah.
And they're not attractive to me at all. Like, it's the ones that are like 99 cents for a weapon skin. I'm kind of like, I don't want to spend 99 cents on a weapon skin. It seems like silly.
It's like almost not worth the time to make the purchase.
Yeah, to make the purchase, because you're for me anyway, I'd have to go buy a PlayStation Network card because I don't have a Visa.
Yeah.
I'd have to go get a PlayStation Network card, go to the store, come back, scratch the thing off, type the code in for what? A little color change on one of the weapons. It's like, this is ridiculous. But like I said, my favorite DLCs are ones like that add story. They add cool new things to see.
Yes.
And maybe not gameplay wise. The DLC that some people are attracted to is they like arena stuff. Like, I've seen stuff for BioShock where it's like new arenas, challenges and stuff like that, or new maps. And to me, it never attracts me. I'm never attracted to that kind of stuff as much as the story expansion.
It's very true, but that's also another thing with multiplayer and single player DLC. There's definitely a vast
there's
difference.
A very vast difference.
It's like a stone wall in between two different types of DLCs that are actually successful. With multiplayer, they're basically the successful ones, anyways, are usually the actual levels, the combat arenas that the players are playing.
Exactly, yeah. And it's weird because it's like some companies, they'll release DLC, multiplayer DLC completely for free. The Last of Us multiplayer mode, it very under the rug released an update where we added a new mode. And people were like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. And it was very under the rug, where it's like Call of Duty would be like, new mode, search and destroy, and vanquish. And then they would maybe sell it off as maybe $1.99 or something.
Yeah, this is kind of off of the DLC kind of thing, but Minecraft.
Yeah.
They don't have DLC per se that's not on the Xbox 360, obviously. The PC version is the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Skins and stuff you can download from player creations. They're just text files or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Image files, rather.
Yeah.
And Mojang, they actually give you all kinds of new content in every update that they release. I mean, creative mode wasn't included.
The recent one was horses, I think, was the last update. They added horses to the game.
It was maybe the second last patch, but
yeah, something around that. But it's one of those interesting things where
and their content is always free. They never charge
always free. Yeah. But bear in mind, they're indie, and just an interesting.
Well, they're veering away.
Well, yeah, that was actually a comment that the reviewer person made. Is that
originally
yeah.
indie.
Is when Microsoft I think at E3 they said like, we support the independence, and then they show Minecraft and people were like, they're not necessarily indie anymore because they've made a gajillion bucks
and they've got an established company name now. I mean,
like people know Minecraft. Like I cannot walk down the street and I say Minecraft, people are probably gonna know what I'm talking about. Like it's a
Which
very
is still true for certain indie games, but
not
to the success
not to the
rate
same
of
success.
Minecraft.
If I came up to someone like, dude, have you played Limbo? Have you played Bastion? Like they're not gonna know what I'm talking about. No, they're not. But it's just interesting because, you know, with indie developers, they maybe sometimes have a little bit more control over how they manage DLC, if they can even get the DLC. Because
the problem is Microsoft really, they control most of what that's with Xbox anyway.
Yeah. Well, that was the
DLC up for indie games.
Yeah. Well, that was the whole fiasco. Especially, this is one thing that bothers me, especially since I play a lot of the PS3, is how DLC, Microsoft grabs the DLC first, and then they put it on their console,
like
and then
we got the DLC
before PS3. Like it was the same thing with Dawn Guard, where it was like, oh, Dawn Guard looks so cool. When do I get to play it? Well, like not in a while, a year later. But it's weird that that I like it when they release it for everybody at the same time, because it feels fair, and I don't like how companies can go out and, you know, spend money to exclusively release DLC. Like if it's a multi-platform game, the DLC should be released for.
In the end, it really is up to the developers whether or not they do that, unless they are already, like, you know, on a contract with Microsoft or Sony, whatever.
It's
usually the developer's choice whether they do that, and whether they make that choice or not is up to them. I think maybe then it becomes fair because it's their creation.
It's their choice.
It feels unfair as a gamer to be like, I can't play this until it comes out.
It's one of those things that just drives me nuts, because it's like when people are talking about like this new content is great, it's awesome, why can't I play it? Why can I not play it? Why are they making this version of the game like less superior than this version? It's the same. They're the company. I feel like it's one of those things where obviously it's depending on who's giving more money to the company. But yeah, you know, it's just different situations. But the other thing, the one thing I want to talk about, the last thing I'll talk about DLC is, this is something that bothers me, is that when DLC either, you know, it starts out free and it gets changed to they're actually charging, or it's the reverse.
The limited time for free.
The limited time for free. And I got screwed by that, by a game.
Buying a DLC?
No. Here's what happened. Part of me, it was my laziness. It was PlayStation All Stars. It was sort of like that Super Smash Brothers Brawl kind of rip-off game.
Yeah, PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale.
Battle Royale, yes. Yeah. And, you know, I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. Yeah. But they released a couple characters for free. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. You've got 2 characters. You've got this, I think, a character from Gravity Rush. I think it was a PSV Vita title. And you had a character from Starhawk. And they released both of them for free. Now, I only had the time to download one. And I thought, well, it's free, right? You know, they're not going to take it away. They're not going to make it, you know, priced. And I come back a week later, and they're charging $6.99
for a character.
For a character. I would expect something like that if you got, like, a character and maybe, you know, some maps and stuff like that. Like
they didn't even have themed maps
for
the characters?
They did, but they released them separately.
Oh,
yeah. Or you could get the bundle for $15, and it's like you're getting a map and maybe 2 characters, and it's. I think they might have added some small stuff to the single player of that game, but the problem is like, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't touched single player of that game at all. I did not even boot it up once because I knew that it's like, no matter what they do, it's a multiplayer game.
Those were built for multiplayer.
They were built.
Absolutely.
So like I said, like, you know, I just that thing drives me nuts. And recently, what they did, this has just happened for Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. They had a DLC. I think it was either Blade Wolf DLC or I think one of the other characters with a sword or something like that. Yeah. At first, it was about maybe $5-6, and you get maybe 2 hours or an hour of content that you can play, which is a bit of a scam, but
when you think about it, like $60 games that are only 5 or 6 hours long.
Yeah, exactly. Same kind of thing. But what was interesting is that just recently they released it. Oh, we're gonna release it for free. I think it said they're gonna release it for free at the time they release a Super Edition that's coming out later on. But it's also kind of like, wait, what about all the people who spent the $6? It's like, oh well, I got it for free. And I feel like that, you might be being nice to the people who haven't bought the DLC. It's like, I get it for free.
But you're also, screwing over the people that already paid for it.
Exactly.
Like, wow, I paid for this yesterday, and
then
today.
Boom, it's free. Like, it's the funny thing how, like, other gamers, like, I've had friends who it's like, I bought this game for $40, and a week later they were selling it for $20. Like, there's that jump in price can really, change things. The last thing I just want to talk about, maybe just Steam, like, how like with the Steam box again, like, how do you think this is going to affect, like, just Steam in general? Like,
Steam's definitely Valve.
Valve, Steam, yeah, exactly.
Valve is definitely growing. They're going to get bigger. I think they might play a huge role in the future for the gaming industry. Console developers and software developers is very, very nice. So
and it's interesting because like Steam really takes their time or Valve takes their time. I mean, my gaming karma is decreasing right now. But Valve really takes their time to make games. Like they really take their time. Like a lot of people consider them the Pixar of video games. And they take their time, and when their games come out, they're really, really good or they're really well done. But it's interesting where it's like now they're going into this new field, and does it mean if they release games for the Steam box and if they don't have the same level of quality as like for the PC, they're gonna start getting like some negative feedback. And it's the same thing where it's funny because I compare them to Pixar now, whereas it's like Pixar had a pretty good run. I'm not gonna lie, they had a pretty decent run of movies and stuff like that.
I'm gonna say though, comparing Steam with Pixar is a little bit awkward because Steam's not quite up there in the industry that they're a part of.
No, but
Pixar's on the absolute top.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is that Pixar and Valve, they have a very large audience. Like they have very large audience for each other, and they both produce high quality stuff. Like obviously one of them's more, has a larger attention span, larger audience than the other. Placement, in the industry. But what I mean is like for Pixar in particular, a couple movies that they released, Cars 2, Brave, they're starting to not do so very well with their quality. And the weird thing is that people are noticing now, and people are starting, like, even though their movies aren't necessarily terrible, like these newer ones, people are like, this is awful compared to their old stuff. And I'm interested to see, will Valve ever be in that position where it'll be like, I remember Half-Life 2 and that was the greatest game ever or something like that.
I think Valve's kind of veering more away from creating the games themselves, more into like the actual hardware behind it. Software in the case of the actual Steam app.
And stuff like that.
Steam app, I find, has really made PC gaming far more accessible than it used to be. I mean, you used to have to like go to the store, buy the disc, install the disc.
Yeah, and it's so nice because you can just do so much on the go now.
Yeah.
And that's not only Steam now. It's like even the PlayStation 4 is like, oh, you can download your game with the Sony app, and then it will download for you.
Yeah.
Like you could be at work and buy Killzone on your phone, and it will start up the PS4 and it will download it for you, so that when you get home, you just pop up Killzone.
I think that should be maybe our topic for next week.
Yeah.
Digital gaming.
Should be
and
definitely.
How digital is really starting to take its
that's
place.
definitely going to be our next topic. But I think that's all we have time for today. And, had a great time with you, man. Good job. And this is Tan the Man and
Kevin Andrews.
And we'll see you later.
See ya.